Hello there, M. Strange here with part 3 of this amazing Boxman experience. Yeah, so hopefully you've replaced Boxman's parts with your own parts. You've severed your arms and legs and attached them using the constraints to this mesh. I know I did. I took my own face and replaced Boxman's face with my own face to terrify you and myself. Okay. So, what we're going to do now is do a walk cycle. And now I'm not going to say I'm the greatest animator in the world because I'm not. And this isn't the best way to do a walk cycle and whatever, any of that stuff. This is just the way that I work. And like, I consider myself a filmmaker who animates, not an animator who makes films. So I just kind of do what I have to do to tell my stories, and I use whatever method is like the most efficient to me. And I mean, I go for quality, but I don't want to spend, you know, too much time just tweaking on the technical aspects of the animation because, I mean, a big studio is always going to be able to do that better, so I just try to get it good enough or as good as I can in the reasonable amount of time while letting my style and the story and the mood and everything else kind of, take over. So getting that out of the way, walk cycles are something, run cycles that you do a lot of. Usually your characters are walking around, and traditionally, if you had time, you would make a new walk cycle for every time your character's walking. So you wouldn't use things like I'll show you where you make a motion clip that loops and have them walk along a spline. So I guess the techniques I'm going to show you would be more suited to like making a game or something. Even though I've never worked on a game, I just assumed that when they're doing animat or cinematics and stuff for games or maybe game animation, they'll use a lot more of the shortcuts they don't use in big movies. So this is kind of like a ghetto character animation class that I'm going to show you, and it's my style of ghetto character animation. So again, this isn't going to be like the greatest technical animation, but I don't want to make stuff like that anyway. I'm not really into stuff that's animated and like, look at me, I'm animated, I'm moving all the time for no reason. But that's my own bias. Getting that out of the way, let's get started. So even though I've done a bunch of animation and walk cycles, I started with stop motion. And when you do stop motion, not that I'm the greatest stop motion animator either, I just did, enough to tell my story, but so I knew how a walk cycle felt, right? Because in stop motion you feel it, and okay, the knee's supposed to whip forward like this, which would be the up stage to the contact, and you know what it feels like, and then you come into 3D, and then it's just kind of like, yeah, the foot, where do I put it, timing, it gets kind of weird. So I always refer back to like these 2D examples. I think this one's from the Animator's Survival Guide or Workbook, the one by Richard Williams, I think. But I have this thing printed out on my wall because I always forget the phases, even though I've done a million of them. So I use this as my guide, and I mean, all you do is these are your base main poses or breakdowns. I don't remember what they're called. And I mean, you're just going to loop this with each leg, do the same thing, and then you can just change the amount of frames in between these, and that's how you do a super basic walk cycle. So let's do that. And usually when when I'm doing a walk cycle, I set up the camera so it's like perspective view in 1, and then in 2 is like a top view. So that's where you can see if your hips are doing crazy stuff and make sure the arms aren't like way out here or something weird. And then usually in 3 I'll have the orthogonal like side view, which is the same as the first frame of the little guide. So that's how I set things up. And then 4 I do the front just so in case he's like this or something, you can catch that. So again, this is not perfect, this isn't like the best way to do it or something, this is just the way I do it. So if you went and downloaded that sheet, or you have it, just start out, go to 0 in time. You can use this power slider, or if you have the timeline down here. But I usually work with 2 screens, so I have the timeline on the other screen, and this is a little different, but since it's a tutorial, I'm just using 1. So also what I like to do, because sometimes you can lose touch with what the floor really is. I'm like, is it this plane, this line, or something? So I always get a cube and then drop it in here, and then make sure like you can see it from all the different views like this, and that just helps a little more because you don't really see the floor plane. You see it as a line, but it's not that helpful to me. So then the first thing I always do, and I'll do one in FK and then one in IK, or one in IK and then one in FK. So let's go into a rough version of the first pose. So, and I won't really worry about the feet right now, like messing with their sliders. I'm just going to try to get them in place with these controllers, except for maybe this one. Which one is that? No, it's not banking. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. So I'll show you something else you can do. You can modify this, twisting that. So let's start like that, and then this arm is kind of like that. He's back like this. Oh yeah, turn on automatic keyframing. And then this arm is forward a little bit. So that's not a perfect first pose, but we'll go with it because we can always fine tune it after. So let's start like that, and then, oops, I already screwed up, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay. I'm going to delete these keyframes. Get out of here. I don't like you. You ruined my life. Okay, sorry about that. You always want to start at 0. Okay. So that's the first pose, which would be the contact one in the little picture. I'm not used to this layout. Okay, so there's our real rough contact. So then, what the hell? I don't even know what I'm doing. How did I get to the last frame again? It's like when you get a new layout, it's like you're in a different place. It's weird. Okay, delete you. Alright, finally. Okay. Then we're going to go forward. Let's just go 3 frames. I don't know. Try that. And then all you do is move them into the next pose, which would be the, oops, that's what I'm doing wrong. I keep clicking down there. Is the down. So we know we're going to have to drop like the hips a little bit. So let's just go like this, and then, you know, bring them down a little bit, and then bring this foot down like that. And you can always change it after, so it doesn't have to be perfect like the first time through. Then this arm is going back like that, so then we grab the solver. Then this one's like way forward. Check that. Sure. And then that looks right. And then we'll go forward 1, 2, 3 more frames. I mean, you can change this like after the timing, so don't have to worry about it. So then this one is the pass, so you can just go straight back. And then when you're doing this, like, I mean, you can screw with the F curves and stuff after to make sure it's right, but this is kind of something for stop motion. So every time, if you want it to look, if you want a walk cycle that's regular, so it doesn't have like beats in it, so it's changing the amount of space in between the poses, then every time you move like one of these feet, just try to space out the keyframes evenly. So you're moving it, so you know you're going like this and like this. You're not going like this and then like that, because obviously it's not going to look right. So now we'll do our pass like that, which kind of looks like that picture, right? And then always on the pass, just the arms are kind of neutral, or like even with each other. Then we go forward 1, 2, 3 more, and this foot's like, I'm going over there. Stop it. And then the next one is the up. So then this one we can just move back a little bit like that, and then the up kind of comes up here, and we can move them up like that. And then now this arm's coming forward, and this one's going back a little bit. Then we go forward 1, 2, 3 more frames, and then now this one's a contact, so that's where this foot's going to hit the ground, and we know that this is where his hips are going to come down a little bit, and this one goes back. And we can tweak. I'll show you how you tweak the F curves and stuff to get the hips to really look the way you want them after. And then this one's going back a little further. This one's going there. And then we can look in the front view and just make sure it doesn't look like super dumb. Okay, doesn't look super dumb. Let's save this in case I screw it all up. Okay, so we're at the contact. Now you notice I was just copying that paper. Let's go back to the paper, because I always copy the paper every time I do a walk cycle. So now if we look at it, let's look at it. So all I did was copy these poses. Like, I copied the same side. How do you do that? How do you keep that active? Well, yeah, so I just copied these poses and I even used the same side, except now his hand is screwed up for some reason. You, back there. That's right. So if we play it back, we see it's one side of the walk cycle, right? So then all you have to do is just do the same sequence of actions except with the opposite arms and legs. So now we'll go 1, 2, 3 again. So now we're at contact. So if you look at the picture, after the contact is the down. So we're doing the same thing now, just with the other side. So we want to take that, we'll go down, and we'll move this like that, and then this one over there, like so. Maybe move him there, and then with the down, that's where his arms are at their most extreme, coming out. And this foot, let's move up a little bit, try to flatten it. That's one thing you do after in the F curves, is like really flatten the feet out, because they tend to like go to the floor and stuff. So then, and I'm gonna animate the neck like after. So that's the down, 1, 2, 3, and then we have the pass again. So that's the one where it comes underneath, and then he goes up like that. There we go, and then move him up. So again, I'm just copying the picture. Then this one is like where the foot's about to come up, and then the arms are neutral, just like the picture. Wow. And then 1, 2, 3, then after the pass is the up. I mean, once you get like the hang of this, it's kind of fun to do it, because you just do like this template base, and then you can go like tweak stuff out and, you know, add all kinds of like crazy hip swing or like whatever you want to do to customize it. So then the up, and then if you notice, this contact is going to be the same as the first frame in the sequence. So then all we have to do is go 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's at 24, and then I'm just going to grab all the keys from the first, from the first frame, because it's going to be the same pose, and then just hold down control and copy them over here, right? So now we have that. And then if you want to see it loop, because the loop is right here at 23, because we want it to go back to 0, but we just put this here so we get the interpolation. So then change this to 23, and then now you have this walk cycle, except he's doing the shuffle right there for some reason. Let's find our problem. Oh, oops, that was my fault. I made the arms move the wrong way. So if you see, I went forward, backwards, forward, so it was this one. You're supposed to be forward. Or no, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to call the police. And then, let's see, forward, backwards. Okay, that's what I did wrong. Put the hands backwards, like that. So now, he has a little pause right there, so. But then it kind of looks like he's, like, hurt or something. I don't know. See me trying to cover up my mistakes? That's the secret to becoming an artist. You cover up your mistakes and make it seem like you did it on purpose. That's my secret to you. So then, let's see, we got this foot right here going to the floor, so just fix that. And we can do this in the F curves too, which is kind of easier to see, but for now we'll just stick with the keyframes. Oh no, his foot is freaking out. What are you doing, foot? What are you doing? I don't know what you're doing. That foot has personal problems. Maybe there's something in the road right there. Yeah. See? I'm using artistic license to play it off. Totally. Dun, 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 dun. It's probably because of that. So then we can go here and take out our jacked up keyframe or something. Well, now he just has character. He has like a bad shoe, like I do. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that looks better. So now we have dude walking, right? This little walk cycle. And then let's say we want to add maybe him going forward a little bit right here. Goes forward, and then let's see, forward, back, like this, and then forward, like that. And then same thing, we want to go, and I have a shortcut, so I use show, I think, what's the command? Show animation or show keyframes to shift T, so it shows me the keys for that object, right? So then I'm going to try the same thing in my template working super fast way. Just go and go over here and then change the timing of these. Okay, so now it looks a little better the way he's moving, right? So that is that. And then you can add, well, actually let's go in the front view to add like the swivel and stuff. So, you know, it looked okay from the side. Now if this was a robot, that might be all you'd want to do, like if it's a robot or a puppet that's not alive or something, or, you know, not flesh and blood. But to add like some swivel and stuff, oh, you see that weird jump in the foot that we can only see from this view? So see that? So this key, let's see, do you belong over there? Sure you do. Now this is kind of really what the F curves are for. Like if you go into the curves and you can see this weird like stuttering thing right here, something. But I'll do another tutorial on like messing with the F curves. Why are you plaguing me, you? Yeah, whatever. You get the picture. So let's add some hip swivel. So what is this? So let's go ahead and add like, and I go by numbers a lot too. 10. So then when this one, let's see, that's that. And actually should be right there, but I don't care. Let's go 10. And then like 10 right there. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, guy, you're like over there, and then you're like over here, and then you're like over here or something. And then, so I mean, it's just about like tweaking with this stuff, and then you find like what works. And see, we have the rotation keyframes here, so we can just go like this. So if you kind of make them loop back on themselves, you can get kind of a clean loop, and then you look at them, and then you're like, is that what I want? Is it not? And then you can go and just tweak with the keyframes more, going into the F curves, whatever. So that's just real subtle. That's not like a big change, but I don't think I'm ready for big changes right now. So on this one, we're gonna do the same thing and just add some of that right there, and then when that leg comes up, that looks funny. Look at his knee. So this is where you can make it look like someone's like pouting or something, you know, if they like totally swing their shoulders around. So just screw around with stuff and like, and just loop the keys back onto themselves, and you can kind of make something look like a semblance of a walk cycle. But it's just about tweaking it. So that's the thing about walk cycles that I found. It's just about tweaking. It's like starting with a good base. Why did I do that? I didn't mean to do that. starting with a good base and then just tweaking on it. So you can go in here and like, yeah, let's make a move over there, and then some of that. So it's just really to like your taste. Now let's make him go that way. Then let's make him go this way. Okay, yeah. Whatever. You get it, right? So then we're going to use the super ultimate hella powerful motion clips to so we can reuse this and loop it and change your life. So I'm just going to add keys on everything on the first and last frame. I just found motion clips work better if you do that. So then we're going to go to the controllers. Let's turn off auto keyframing just so I don't explode the world on accident. We're going to go to the controllers and then say add motion clip, but remember our loop point stops at 23, so we only want to go to 23. So let's call this IK walk, create pictures, and just leave this stuff as it is. So then now we have this walk as a walk cycle in the loop. So then we can change our time to like 1:44 or something, and we have lots of options. And if you lose this timeline and you're like, how do I get these back? If you look at the timeline, there's key mode, F-curve mode, and then the motion mode, which will show you motion clips. And if you still can't get it, just click on the motion clip and then say open in timeline, and it'll bring it back here. So now that we have it, you can do a bunch of things. You can go super slow-mo, right? Or you can go methamphetamine version, like that. And when you click on the motion clip, here's your loops right here. So let's just say we want 5, so we can have 5 like super fast loops. But let's go back to 0 and go back to the normal speed, 100%, and go like that. So he's walking all the way through. He keeps on walking, doesn't matter what happens. So now there's a couple ways you can make him walk along a path. You could just like grab his controller and then keyframe it and go forward, and then move him forward and then keyframe him again, and then look at the F curve for position Z. There it is. And you don't want it like this, you'd want to go like this, and you'd want to grab this and shorten this. Oops, wrong one. Where's my shortcut? Show only, show selected, show all, hide unselected. Okay. So then, yeah, I'm holding shift too, so it's not like tweaking on me, or at least it makes me feel like I'm doing something. Hey. Or you can just shift it to linear and then tweak with it after, right? But as you'll see like his feet slipping. So this kind of like is like this tweaker way. Again, this isn't like a perfect way. Whoa, he's doing the shuffle all the way. This isn't a perfect way because, like, if you really want the feet planted, you're going to animate the feet like individually as they plant. So, but I found just by screwing with the speed, you can find a place where it's like it like looks pretty good. So it's about like finding that speed, right, that works for your guy or girl, whatever he or she is. And then let's delete these keys. I'm pressing shift control and that deletes them all. Oops. And the other thing you can do if you want to like walk around a curved path or something, let's go into top view and then let's draw a freehand spline, just going like wow, like that. And then let's change it to uniform and a B spline maybe. Is that smoother? It looks smoother, right? And then we can put an align to spline tag on him, and then give it the spline, and say tangential. Tangential? Did I just say genital? Tangential. Yeah, it's not genital. I'm not a pervert. Sorry, don't arrest me. Hope no one under 18 is watching this. So, let me go like that. And then to do this, all we do is animate the position. And if you turn on the tangent thing, he'll turn with it. So then this way, you would just go position 100. But you're going to get the same issue where the feet are going to slip. So I'm going to change this to linear. Doom, doom, doom. See, that's like too fast. Or he's going too far. So then the same thing. You can just go like that and find that place. So it doesn't always, you have to, it's kind of a mixture of finding the right kind of, look, it's like one of those dreams where you're trying to run, but you don't go anywhere. So you kind of just have to find that place, or actually it depends on the spline too. Like if it has too many curves sometimes, it doesn't work out, but you can find the way. And you'll find through experimenting with different walk cycles, like what type of ones, like the way the feet look. So if it like looks like your character's doing the running man when he's in place, then that's probably going to be a good one that won't look like it's slipping. But if you don't have much of a running man look, then you're going to get mad slippage. So it's just about tweaking with this until you find something that's acceptable for you. And again, if you want to do a super realistic walk where the feet are like matching up in the right place all the time, you're probably just going to want to animate the character, not with the loop, like actually animate them walking. And I'll do one in the future where I'll do that too. And I'll just show you how it looks so much better, but it takes so much longer. So this stuff is really for if you're doing like longer shots of characters walking or just stuff like that. That's what I found these are good for, because when you get to like closer inspection, sometimes you'll see that like, hey, wait a minute, his feet aren't on there or something like that. So where did you go? Oh, it's backwards. He's over here. He wants to walk the other way. So yeah, you'll find that they generally work better with straight splines, but you can do the curve thing too. You just have to be careful. So let's get rid of that and zero this guy out. Actually, I have a shortcut. I think Shift 0 that zeroes them out. You can make a little script for that if you want to mess around with Cinema 4D's script editor. Where is script editor? Command manager, script manager, execute. Yeah, you can like make little scripts in here. So you just do stuff and copy and paste and whatever. There's other tutorials out there to do that, but yeah, you can make some handy ones for animation like that. So now that we did the IK one, now let's do an FK one, and you'll see the difference. So let's delete that motion clip and start over. So we're going to go back into our side view, and there's going to be a problem initially, because let's set this back to 24, because as he does have why are there all these keys? Let's do my Uber. Delete shortcut. Ha ha ha. Hey, you were supposed to delete everything. Or you can just go in here and delete all that. And there shall be no keys. And then there were none. So yeah, you want to get all the keys off all this stuff. So as you'll see here, if you undo that, now we're in FK mode for the arms, but I didn't put that on the foot. Like there isn't a little button for it, so I'm going to show you how to go in here and actually switch it off so you can use FK. So go into the controls, go into the skeleton, which says pelvis, and then you want to find the left hip IK tag and undo use IK, and then go to the right hip and do the same thing. So now these won't work because you're now in FK mode. But as you can see here too, there's no controllers. So the way you add controllers is you're going to want the hip and the knee and the ankle. So all you do is grab this one, grab this one, and then grab that one. So now we have those three joints. And then we want to do the same thing for the right leg, like that, and like that. And then you see what happens by default when you grab one of these controllers that you want to move the position of. It's in the move tool, and then when you click on one of these joints, it goes to the rotate tool. So I set that up like that. So the way you do that is go into tag and then hotspots, and then scroll down to find the ones you just made, and under action change it to rotate. So you're telling it when I select this in the visual selector, use this tool, because you're only going to want to rotate these joints. Rotate, and then if you want to, you can go ahead and name these too, like hip, and you can go through and do them all if you want. So then in here it'll have a name next to it, but that's only optional. You'll get extra credit points from that from somebody. So now we're going to do the same thing we just did, except we're going to be using the FK controls. And I actually kind of like using FK better, I found, because you get much better arcs and just your control. You don't get weird. You don't get much of the slipping and stuff like that. And yeah, you just have like stricter control over everything. So let's turn automatic keyframing back on and key everything, even though it gets keyed, but it makes me feel more powerful. And it might make you feel more powerful too. So we're just going to go look at our sheet again, and then go and what the hell? Are these not off? Oops. Okay. What's up with this axis? Why is it all funky? Oh, I guess it's okay. It's just hard to see from this angle. So then you are going there, and then go like that, and then like this. Is that about right? Does that look right to you? What? Okay, sure. So then we do that, then same thing, 1, 2, 3, go ahead 3 frames, and then we have the down, so that's going to be this one back a little bit, and then this one, I'm going to bend that way first. Oops, I didn't switch the tool. What happened? So I'm going to go like that, and then like this. And then as you'll see, his whole body needs to go down too. Oops. If you just grab the axis by itself, it won't screw around with the other ones. So I'm going to go like that, and then, yeah, and like that. Again, we can tweak it after. This arm's like way out, and then we can even do that a little bit. And then this one looks just like the picture. So I guess this is just like painting by numbers. Oh my god, how horrible, I know. Animation isn't an art when you're just painting by numbers or something. So then this is the pass. So we're going to have to raise up his body like that. And then this other leg, oops, like that. And then this one is going to be there. But you see, it's pretty easy, right? It's like if you just copy the picture, if you paint by the numbers, it's pretty simple. I mean, compare this to like drawn animation, you know. I mean, I guess you can just copy the pictures too, but that's so much harder. This is even easier than stop motion too. So then we have the pass, 1, 2, 3, and I'm just using 3 because that's kind of just a speed that I know that works for me. So then we want the up. I guess we can bend this guy a little bit. Go like that, and then get his foot in there or something. And then this one is like coming up. See, you can get more of this swing because it's just like in stop motion. I always remember from doing walks and runs, it's like you bring the leg up here and then you swing this one forward. Oops, not like that. Like swing this out and then you come down. So it kind of feels, yeah, I guess in stop motion, yeah, you're doing FK, of course, so that's why it feels right to me. So we're just going to tweak that. And actually, I think this one should come back further or something. And then on the up, this arm is coming forward. And we can bring that there. And then this one is going back like that. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to have the contact. So this one's bent just a little bit. Put him back. This one is like, this is where, are these bending all weird or something? Like this. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I probably didn't reset the swivel. Like the hips are still rotated. So it's doing some weird stuff, but I can fix that after. So contact should be like that. So then this foot is a bad foot, or this is a bad joint, like that. And so with the contact, this is a little more forward, as is this one. And I mean, when you're doing this, you can always go like check, and see where you're at and how it's going to make sure you didn't do anything wrong like I did the last time. So then contact and the same thing, 1, 2, 3. Now we're shifting legs, but we're doing the same thing. So we know this is a down. And see how much easier that was? Like, all I had to do was just rotate that one a little bit, and the leg looks very nice. So with the down, we go like that, and then we can actually bend this one a little more, I think. I am thinking. And then actually the hips will tell you what is right and what is wrong. So like that. So we have our up to contact to down. So we already know, if you saw, I didn't like move that much, so that lets us know that the down needs to be more extreme. That, and then let's see, these arms, should we make them look all like, yeah, I'm down? Looks like it's gonna fly away. Duke contact down. Actually, I think the problem here is that it needs to be bent even more and come down even more or something. Let's give him like a more extreme down pose. Let's give him mood swings. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, I see. I see what the problem is. These arms aren't traveling far enough. Okay, he's going out, out, and then this one is going out all crazy. Yeah, let's do that. So that's our down, where he looks like a lunatic. And then, oops, he's not bowling, so we don't want to do that. We want to move this back into place because we already know it is a pass, and we broke his ankle, so let's try to fix it. Something. So yeah, we have the hip swivel, so that's why he looks kind of funky. Rise from your grave. And I guess the pass is the hardest one to screw up, but I'm sure I'll find a way to screw it up somehow. because I'm pretty sure I have. And yeah, you screw up a lot, or at least I do. 1, 2, 3. Now we know it's the up position. So this guy's coming up. He's elevated in mood. His outlook on life has changed. Then this one is like that. And then now, let me not mess arms up again. So this one's going forward. Well, just always remember too that like the one that comes up is opposite the leg. So I wasn't paying attention when I screwed up before. Yeah. So then, same thing, we want to go and copy all the keys from 1. Close, close, close. Oops. Close, close. There's shortcuts for this too. You can just say group all, or actually I can just grab the summary. What am I doing? Yeah, if you just click on the summary keyframe, it'll copy all of them. So then we just control drag to 24 and then go to 23. So now we should have this weird FK loop. Yeah. Whoa. I'm stopping. I'm pausing. Why am I pausing? I don't know. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm gonna walk. See? It's just his acting is weird. Yeah. Whoa. So yeah, maybe let's do this one more extreme. Let's get extreme. So let's say maybe on this pose, what should we do? Let's try to totally screw him up. Like, yeah, and you'll notice with this rig, if you're in FK, like if you move the neck too much, it like moves all the feet and like everything. Whoa, he's like out of control. And let's go like that. And then again, copy him over so you can get that neck to loop. And then let's go into the side mode. And what should we do? Make him go forward right there? It's moving his feet because of the way this rig is set up, but whatever. I'm just proving a point. Then in the middle, we'll make him like go back or something. No. I'm control clicking to copy those so it loops again. And then his hips obviously aren't moving. I think this is where FK gets weird for me with this rig, because if you try to pivot these, yeah, it does all of his feet and everything. Is it this controller? No, same thing. So maybe that's a problem with my rig with FK. If you swivel the hips, it gets all weird. That looks like he's skipping. See how it looks funky because his feet are like way out here? So you can just go, oops, what am I doing? I'm not an IK. And go and like, go to their keys, oops, and rotate them back in or something. Just go to them and move them back. Whoa, he's slipping and sliding everywhere. Wow, that looks pretty trippy. Yeah, I mean, if I was doing this like for real though, I would spend more time on it and be more careful. But I just kind of want to show you the process if you don't know, because then, I mean, you could do this better, right? You won't make the same mistakes that I did. That old M. Strange, yeah, he meant well, but his walk cycles, I don't know. I don't think a woman could ever love him because of his walk cycles, you know. It's one of those important things, you know. Next to I don't know anything else that's important to stable relationships besides your ability to create a loopable, perfect walk cycle. Well, it looks like he's skipping. Skip to my loop, skip to my weird shoe. Sometimes when it seems like everything's just going like wrong, that's when you just go like, alright, fuck it, I don't care. I'm just gonna fucking move keys all over the place. Actually, that looks better. Yeah, see? But he still has this weird twisting here, but I mean, what do you expect? He's a box dude. So there's like an angry walk or something. And then you can actually, here, I'll show you how to add some variety without any keyframes at all to your cycles, to give them some algorithmic variety. Alright. So let's say we go to the neck and add one of these magical vibrate tags and enable rotation. And let's go here. So now, like what you can do, let's do it more extreme just so you can see it. See his head moving now, right? So what you can do is actually, let's turn this into a motion clip and loop it first. Let's go here, do that, and then go to his controls, animation, add motion clip. Let's call this FK walk. Again, tell it no, 23, not 24. Create pictures. Okay. So now we have his FK walk as a motion clip. Let's go make this longer and then loop it to fill this. So now you see his head going, right? So you can layer using these vibrate tags to animate stuff on top of your keyframe animation. So that's what's going on here. So we have this guy moving only in Y or H or whatever. So we can go like that. And see his head like flopping around there? See it? So it has some like random movement in there. Or his head, I mean my head. Oh yeah, this is me, right? So I would walk like this. So there was one option here I didn't show you, but I meant to. If usually I leave the tags separate in the motion clip, so they're like moving at a different time than the clip, so it gives it a, you know, something more organic looking. But when you go to add motion clip, if you click bake expressions, then that'll actually bake all the movement of the vibrate tag into the motion clip, so it'll save that too. So that's how you do that. And now we have a disturbed me walking. So what else should we do with this? Should we have him walk and then like fall to pieces at the end of his long journey? I think that's a great idea. Okay, let's do that. So we have our loops, or should we have something hit him or something? I don't know, we'll find out. So let's get the floor. Actually, we need collisions now because we're going to have them fall apart or use dynamics or something. So let's make the floor. Usually you would use a plane, but I had the box there, so let's just use that box. And his feet are kind of going through, but do we care? Do I'm going to fix that? Oh, I'll just do this. See, that's the advantage in 3D. Like you can just move the world out of the way. Don't you wish you can do that in real life? I know I do. So let's draw him a spline, a linear spline, and let's go. You're gonna go from here to over there. Okay. Move over there. And then let's add a align to spline tag, and then add the spline in there. 10 tangents. I'm not gonna say genital again. And you'll notice that it's like backwards, right? Because he's like walking the wrong way, so I drew that wrong. So the way you can resolve that, make the spline editable, go into point mode, do select all, and then go to structure, edit spline, reverse sequence. So now he's going the right way because we reversed the points of the spline. So let's just find a decent speed to go 96 frames. Let's see, maybe 50%, 46 or something. No, no. And it's using spline interpolation, so he's gonna like speed up and slow down in a not so natural way. So you'd want to, oh, and you notice he's in the floor, so you can just get the spline and move it up, because now he's stuck to the spline. So it looks like the speed's okay once he's moving. So then we can click on this, and then I have a shortcut, but what I'm doing is going show F curve down here. Show F curve. Where's the F curve? Okay. And then select all, and then I'm turning it into a linear one, so there's no soft interpolated stuff going on. And he's still going to the floor. Okay, so then go like that, and you can see he's slipping. So we're gonna go and back over here, show track, and then say don't go so far so fast, you're just you're trying to do too much. So this is just about tweaking the time. So I'm moving the keyframe further out, so it takes longer to move there, and then it's like, no, move in here. So let's just say that's good enough for our ghetto animation technique. So now we did an IK walk cycle and an FK1, and then aligned it to a spline and made their feet go through the floor. Tight. Okay, how about that? Dun 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 dun. He's a skating crazy guy. I don't want to see all this stuff. Usually when I'm animating, I just have polygons on the HUD and the axis, that's all. It speeds things up too, because you don't want to see all this crap. So let's have him walk there, and then we'll have him fall to pieces, like the Patsy Cline song. Like anybody knows who Patsy Cline is. Okay. You're out of it, M. Strange. You're just out of it. It's obvious. Okay. So let's try this. I don't know if this is gonna work, but try it anyway, because I like taking chances. Let's add a rigid body tag to the cube, which is our floor, and then let's try this. Let's make a fracture object, and then let's put all this in the fracture object and say explode segments. Okay, that didn't destroy the world just yet. And then let's see what happens. Let's put a rigid body tag on this and see if he falls apart. Oh, he falls apart right away. So then the way we get around that is to disable it at the start. So let's have him walk, and then right about here he'll like just fall to pieces. So all we do is keyframe the tag. Pretty good, right? If you want a guy falling to pieces. I fall to pieces. And you could have something hit him or whatever too, and like it would interact like that. So we have walking guy exploding. So that's another good thing about using segmented characters, so that if you want to make this like extreme, like we're following him, like it's a documentary about spontaneous human explosion. Okay, let's make a camera, make it like a wider angle, and then let's just key it following him. So let's go like this, and then we'll add some random stuff. Let's turn on automatic animation, or automatic keyframing, I mean. So we're interviewing this guy, and then he's just gonna break apart and we're gonna be shocked and appalled. So then he's falling and we're like, oh what? Oh no! Oh, he's broken. So then we'll look at this and just look at our camera work. Oh no, he's broken. And just a cheap way, I mean, there's some good plugins like Scooby Cam by C4D Jack that I bought and use. That's awesome, like Steadicam. And there's Steadicam Pro from TCA Studios, I think, too. But if you just want to do a cheap version, just throw a vibrate tag on there. And let's actually put something in the distance, so there is some point to focus on or something, so you can see the camera move. So let's make a cube over there, and another one, and another one, something like that, so we have some type of perspective going on. Oh no! Oh! So yeah, the cheap way you can do a Steadicam is just add the vibrate tag, and then just try giving a little bit in each one of those, and then oops, give it a little bit in here too, and then offset the frequencies. So it's not perfect, but you know, it has a little bit more movement on it. We can probably make it faster. See that? So it's like real life. So now you can make those annoying, you know, handheld stuff where people are like, whoa, look, it's handheld. I mean, it's obviously handheld because it's shaking, so this must be real. It's handheld, it's real. Oh my god, this is so real. Oh, this guy just exploded. And then what else can we do? Let's go and make a spotlight with the shadow. Let's make it kind of blue. And where is it? Let's show lights. Let's go above him. Then this is one of the cool features of Cinema 4D. You click on a light or any object, and then you go link active object. So now you're looking to the light. So we should have like a spotlight on him because he's a star, right? Yeah, I think so. He's a star. And then we can key that so that it follows him as he explodes. The spontaneously exploding man meets his end. And then let's go into a side view. I think this is a side view. Yes. Get out of my way, cube. Get out the way. Get out the way. And this isn't a lighting tutorial, but some of the stuff you can add to the lighting to make it look more realistic is not have it at 100%. Is switch it to inverse square, because that's what real lights use. And then when you do this, you want to kind of get this endpoint like halfway on your object. That's kind of a good guideline. And let's make it volumetric light. So let's see how that looks. Oh, my bad. And then you have to grab the outer distance of the light too and make it go like way past him. Dun, 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 if you want some stuff like that. But let's make it bluer like this, like that, so it's like this mysterious dude walking off here and he explodes alone in the darkness. So now, you know, we have something going on here, right? So let's render that out just for fun to see how it be looking. We can use the settings already in here for like super fastness, and I'm going to render that and come back. Okay, so 17 years passed and now this render's done. Actually, it only took, what, 1 minute 46 seconds. So now we have this strange man wandering in the dark and exploding, and his pieces disappear. So, you know, it's kind of interesting, right, for the time we spent. But remember, once you have these cycles and you like them, you can use them forever and on a bunch of different characters and tweak them out. So like, see this light, how it's kind of just moving too linearly, like straight up and down. So you can go tweak the F curves, or you could just go and like copy the same tag and put it on the light and then just turn the frequency down. So these are just little tricks to give all your stuff kind of, more variety in it. So then we can move that one so it's actually, let's make it 666. Oh my god, the devil is controlling that light. Now look, it's the devil spotlight. Oh my god, let's make it red because it's totally controlled by, it's dark sided. This light is dark sided. Oh my god, now he's going into hell. This is a religious parable. Yeah. So I hope somebody learned something from this. And again, the way I do it is not the best way, or the professional way. I don't know how those people work. I just work the way I work, and it works for me. So it might help you. You can spend as much time as you want it to get it looking as good as you want, but this is the way I do it, and I like to save out my clips and reuse them. Even all my old tests and stuff, I save them all, because if you're working alone, like, you need variety, so you can use them for characters really far in the background and stuff like that. So hope this was helpful, and maybe you'll try your own walk cycles and make exploding guys for some reason. Maybe you'll have a reason. I didn't have a reason in this one, but yeah. So your pal M.String saying peace out. Now I'll do one in FK and then one in IK, or one in IK and then one in FK. So let's go into a rough version of the first pose. So, and I won't really worry about the feet right now, like messing with their sliders. I'm just going to try to get them in place with these controllers, except for maybe this one. Which one is that? No, it's not banking. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. So I'll show you something else you can do. You can modify this, twisting that. So let's start like that, and then this arm is kind of like that. He's back like this. Oh yeah, turn on automatic keyframing. And then this arm is forward a little bit. So that's not a perfect first pose, but we'll go with it because we can always fine tune it after. So let's start like that, and then, oops, I already screwed up, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay. I'm going to delete these keyframes. Get out of here. I don't like you. You ruined my life. Okay, sorry about that. You always want to start at 0. Okay. So that's the first pose, which would be the contact one in the little picture. I'm not used to this layout. Okay, so there's our real rough contact. So then, what the hell? I don't even know what I'm doing. How did I get to the last frame again? Techniques I'm going to show you would be more suited to like making a game or something. Even though I've never worked on a game, I just assumed that when they're doing or cinematics and stuff for games, or maybe game animation, they'll use a lot more of the shortcuts they don't use in big movies. So this is kind of like a ghetto character animation class that I'm going to show you, and it's my style of ghetto character animation. So again, this isn't going to be like the greatest technical animation, but I don't want to make stuff like that anyway. I'm not really into stuff that's animated and like, look at me, I'm animated, I'm moving all the time for no reason. But that's my own bias. Getting that out of the way, let's get started. So even though I've done a bunch of animation and walk cycles, I started with stop motion. And when you do stop motion, not that I'm the greatest stop motion animator either, I just did, enough to tell my story, but so I knew how a walk cycle felt, right? Because in stop motion you feel it, and okay, the knee's supposed to whip forward like this, which would be the up stage to the contact, and you know what it feels like, and then you come into 3D, and then it's just kind of like, yeah, the foot, where do I put it, timing, it gets kind of weird. So I always refer back to like these 2D examples. I think this one's from the Animator's Survival Guide or Workbook, the one by Richard Williams, I think. But I have this thing printed out on my wall because I always forget the phases, even though I've done a million of them. So I use this as my guide, and I mean, all you do is these are your base main poses or breakdowns. I don't remember what they're called. And I mean, you're just going to loop this with each leg, do the same thing, and then you can just change the amount of frames in between these, and that's how you do a super basic walk cycle. So let's do that. And usually when when I'm doing a walk cycle, I set up the camera so it's like perspective view in 1, and then in 2 is like a top view. So that's where you can see if your hips are doing crazy stuff and make sure the arms aren't like way out here or something weird. And then usually in 3 I'll have the orthogonal like side view, which is the same as the first frame of the little guide. So that's how I set things up. And then 4 I do the front, just so you know, in case he's like this or something, you can catch that. So again, this is not perfect, this isn't like the best way to do it or something, this is just the way I do it. So if you went and downloaded that sheet, or you have it, just start out, go to 0 in time. You can use this power slider, or if you have the timeline down here. But I usually work with 2 screens, so I have the timeline on the other screen, and this is a little different, but since it's a tutorial, I'm just using 1. So also what I like to do, because sometimes you can lose touch with what the floor really is. I'm like, is it this plane, this line, or something? So I always get a cube and then drop it in here, and then make sure like you can see it from all the different views like this, and that just helps a little more because you don't really see the floor plane. You see it as a line, but it's not that helpful to me. So then the first thing I always do, and hello there, M.Strange here with part 3 of this amazing Boxman experience. Yeah, so hopefully you've replaced Boxman's parts with your own parts. You severed your arms and legs and attached them using the constraints to this mesh. I know I did. I took my own face and replaced Boxman's face with my own face to terrify you and myself. Okay. So what we're going to do now is do a walk cycle. And now I'm not going to say I'm the greatest animator in the world, because I'm not. And this isn't the best way to do a walk cycle and whatever, any of that stuff. This is just the way that I work, and like I consider myself a filmmaker who animates, not an animator who makes films. So I just kind of do what I have to do to tell my stories, and I use whatever method is like the most efficient to me. And I mean, I go for quality, but I don't want to spend too much time just tweaking on the technical aspects of the animation, because I mean, a big studio is always going to be able to do that better, so I just try to get it good enough, or as good as I can in the reasonable amount of time, while letting my style and the story and the mood and everything else kind of take over. So getting that out of the way, walk cycles or something, run cycles that you do a lot of. Usually your characters are walking around, and traditionally, if you had time, you would make a new walk cycle for every time your character's walking. So you wouldn't use things like I'll show you where you make a motion clip that loops and have them walk along a spline. So I guess it's like when you get a new layout, it's like you're in a different place. It's weird. Okay, delete you. Alright, finally. Okay. Then we're going to go forward. Let's just go 3 frames. I don't know. Try that. And then all you do is move them into the next pose, which would be the, oops, that's what I'm doing wrong. I keep clicking down there. Is the down. So we know we're going to have to drop like the hips a little bit. So let's just go like this, and then bring them down a little bit, and then bring this foot down like that. And you can always change it after, so it doesn't have to be perfect like the first time through. Then this arm is going back like that, so then we grab the solver. Then this one's like way forward. Check that. Sure. And then that looks right. And then we'll go forward 1, 2, 3 more frames. I mean, you can change this like after the timing, so don't have to worry about it. So then this one is the pass, so you can just go straight back. And then when you're doing this, like, I mean, you can screw with the F curves and stuff after to make sure it's right, but this is kind of something for stop motion. So every time, if you want it to look, if you want a walk cycle that's regular, so it doesn't have like beats in it, so it's changing the amount of space in between the poses, then every time you move like one of these feet, just try to space out the keyframes evenly. So you're moving